Right, I think we'll get started. I can see we've got quite a few people in the meeting now. So welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us. It's another Insights Time webinar with me, Rich Beresford, and Mike Boswell, the sales team at Giant Finance Plus. Mike, how you doing? You okay?
All good, thank you very much. Yeah, looking forward to catching up with a few people here. So yeah, fire away, mate.
Yeah, some familiar names in here today, which is great to see. So yeah, welcome everybody. We're separate today. We're not our sort of usual sort of dream team next to each other, but yeah, we thought we'd have a bit of a chat about sort of seasonality, seasonal recruitment businesses really. Heading into summer holidays, start of well mid-July now already actually. So we just thought it'd be worthwhile just touching on. Um, the benefits really of invoice finance and how it works with seasonal businesses who possibly aren't going to need, year-round finance. So hopefully it'll be of interest to some people on here. But I guess at the top, it's probably worthwhile just sort of going back to basics and looking at a bit of the jargon involved and really just a quick sort of refresh on invoice finance. So, Mike, invoice finance. There's various ways of charging. We've got discount charges, we've got service fees, we've got disbursements. Do you want to just give a quick overview of what that all is and how it relates to the
Yeah,
fee structure involved?
absolutely. So the way that many invoice finance facilities work is you pay a service fee, which will be a percentage charge on your gross turnover, which will cover you for the admin of the facility, be it if they're doing credit control, etc., etc. Okay. Now we do an all-encompassing fee, so we charge a one-off percentage. Okay, so everything's in, including the interest on the money, all your fees, etc., etc. Now, when you get a service fee and what we call a discount fee, and this is where the jargon comes in, because actually we're not allowed as factors and discounters to call it interest. And I won't go into the reasons. I've worked in the industry for 27 years, and I can say why, but it'll bore you to death. But
That's another
basically,
webinar.
yeah. That's a completely different webinar. It's basically that the discount is the interest you pay on the money you've drawn down. Because effectively, we get the invoices, we pay out the money so you can pay your workers, etc. We then collect the money, so we bridge the gap between then paying the workers through to you getting the money in from your customer. Okay, so therefore there's money outstanding. Makes an overdrawn position with us. We're funding that payroll, so therefore there's a discount fee. So the two ways are you have a service fee and discount fee and pay two separate charges, or there's an all-in-one, which is what we do.
So you mentioned there with the discount fee option, it depends on how long it can take for the client to pay the invoices. So presumably the longer an invoice is overdue, the more it can cost with a discount charge in place.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, to be fair, what we do with an all wrapped up fee, if you're in construction, there's generally going to be a longer length of time where the customers will take to pay. We factor that into our fee. But obviously, what will happen is if you're on the split fee, it'll just mean you need to borrow the money for longer, so therefore you pay more interest. So it sort of swings and roundabouts a little bit. But yeah, that's certainly the way it works. That the longer the customers take to pay, it will cost you more somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it's about knowing what you're entering into in the first place, isn't it? And all this jargon is part of it. If you're new to invoice finance, if you just set up a business, you could be fantastic top biller recruiter in your business that you're moving away from, but then setting up your own agency. There's going to be a lot of stuff that you don't necessarily get involved in as an employee of another agency, and invoice finance and funding is one of those things, isn't it? You just not going to
Yeah, I think
necessarily know what to look out for.
I think my advice is make sure you're getting all the charges up front. Okay. I mean, we have extra fees which is stuff that we do outside our services, but that will be documented with you at the
Yeah.
point that before you actually go live with the facility, and you should always make sure that who you're dealing with will do that for you. I mean, the other thing as well is, if you haven't got the time to look around, we work with a lot of brokers, and there's good brokers out there that will look at the best option for you, to make sure that you understand exactly what you're buying into, and that, I mean, there's lots of options out there. They'll match you with the people that will best suit route.
Yeah.
So you don't end up just going with with a funding facility and then finding that you've got a massive bill to run your back office in the background, or you haven't got all the wherewithal to run your back office in the background, where someone like us to do the whole facility for you, funding and full back office in one place, would be a better option.
Yeah, there's definitely pros and cons to each sort of charging fee model, the discount charge and the service fee. And it depends on many things. It depends on the sector that you're in, how good a relationship you've got with your clients, and how creditworthy and how good a payer they are. And I guess the size of the business itself. And coming back to the thing I mentioned at the top, the seasonality side of things. If you're a seasonal recruitment business, if you're in the education sector, logistics or hospitality, that have busy times of year and quiet times of year, I guess there's going to be benefits to using the one payment model over the other, because you're not necessarily going to need it all year round.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we can broaden it, Rich, to just seasonal businesses. We also are doing a lot of business with people that are saying, interesting economic times at the moment. Perm placements may be going down, so actually want to build out a temp desk. So they want to have a go at a temp desk, or they know that they can do a temp desk, and that may well move into seasonal. So they say, look, we've got needs at various times in the year, but it might not be constant, and it may be up and down. And the beauty is with an invoice finance facility, all invoice finance facilities, is the funding is in line with your turnover. So the busier you get, automatically, as soon as you start making placements, you get the invoices out, you've got more funding. But the advantage of the way that we do it, whereby we just take a percentage fee, right, and there's no minimums. We're probably going to merge our two questions, which we put out there about, don't get caught out by hidden fees, in alongside this. In that we may well come out and say, right, okay, we'll charge you 4%. New startup business, okay, in the healthcare sector, we will charge you 4% of the invoices going through us, okay? Now, that will give you an online capability via our precision system. We'll do the invoicing for you, the credit control, credit protection, and that is all the funding and cost therein, everything all encompassing, okay? You may well then get another quote that says, actually, we'll do that for 1.5% and it's invoice finance only. And you think, oh, that's really, really cheap. I can buy myself a little off-the-shelf system. Yeah, that'll be fine. I won't have many customers. Yeah, an accountant will do my payroll for you. But what you've got to watch out for, and hey, I was massively guilty of this working for Lloyds all the years, a lot of them, they want £500 to £1,000 a month minimum from you that's built in, okay, to be able to deal with you. Now we support a lot of new startups, and £500 to £1,000 in the first few months is a lot of money.
It is.
And again, if you're seasonal, whereby those down months when you're going to pay £1,000 on top, then suddenly that 1.5% may well zoom up to 6, 7%, 8, 10%, because of the extra charges that are in there. So you need to understand the jargon, and you need to understand exactly the fee structure which you're looking at, because the headline fee of 1.5%. Because there'll also be an interest rate discount fee on top of that. Okay, you've got to try and look at the calculations and see where you're going to be best placed, and also what you're getting for your money.
Well, that's it. It's about kind of knowing what your outgoings are going to be, and no one's got a crystal ball. You don't know whether a lot of businesses don't last a year. You don't know whether you're still going to be in business in 6 months from launch, but what you do want to know is what your outgoings are going to be, and try and have some sort of semblance of forecasts. And the best way to do that is with the service charge, because you then know, all right, if I'm billing 10 grand a month at 4%, you know exactly what your fees are going to be, and you can plan for that, and you know what margins you've got to hit to make it a viable business for yourself, and make it work. I think the other thing that we put out there about that we were going to talk about today was interest rates, and obviously it's a hot topic at the minute. Every month it seems to be shooting up, and that kind of ties back into the discounting charge, doesn't it, Mike? And that's why at the minute it is such a sort of an important thing to be aware of. Interest rates are, in the last 18 months they've jumped massively from historic lows to where they are now at 5%, and that that can is potentially going to continue to climb. So again, it's important, isn't it, Mike, to be aware of what you're going to be paying, not just now, but in 2 or 3 months' time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have increases if the base rate goes up. Okay, automatically in our terms. Okay, so you can plan, so if you think it's going to go up by a further 2%, you'd know exactly what you'd be charging with us.
And that's to cover our costs, isn't it? I guess.
Correct, absolutely. Because again, we borrow our money. Okay, we then obviously use that money to fund funding any clients. Okay, so just as it costs you, it costs us, and so therefore that our costs go up. If you think you with another provider and they're going up in excess, then that's a point where you should benchmark and go out to the marketplace to find out what you can get. We certainly have negotiated with many of our clients. I think I'm quite proud of what we did. We actually went quite early on the back clients and said to people, look, these interest rates are increasing. We want to make sure that we don't give you any nasty surprises. So we actually increased the fees early on compared to some of our competitors, but it meant that we could actually plan with our clients and help them smooth it through. And some clients, if they expanded nicely, we got room within the facility, or room within the costing model, we didn't pass the increases on. So there's a room for negotiation there. And again, I've spoken to people who are going through that exact exercise recently, where they've had price increase, and they said, look, what happens if the base rate goes up with you guys? And I said, look, I'll tell you what I'll do, and I put a parameter on it. So therefore I said, look, if the interest rates don't go up more than 1.5% within the next 12 months, we won't pass any of those increases on to you. Okay, so again, coming back to your point, Rich, someone can actually plan for where they are for the next 12 months, because in 12 months' time, I've been around the block, and seen interest rates rise and fall over many, many years. Are we at the peak? I don't know. But then, if inflation comes down, inevitably, the economy isn't that strong. We've come through COVID. The interest rate should come down a bit. So again, you need to be with a provider. Just as we were a little bit early to go, I'm convinced that we will be quick to pass the savings onto our clients as well. So obviously, we're lending responsibly, and keeping the relationships we worked very hard to build, intact.
Yeah. It comes back to that whole, making sure you've got the right provider for you, and just because it's the cheapest price doesn't mean it's the best offer on the table. You've got to have someone who is able to grow with you and work with you and understand your business. And I think we do that at Giant Finance Plus really well. And I think that's why we have such a good sort of long-term tenure from the clients.
We haven't been in length of contract 12 months, and people say, "Oh, is that negotiable?" I say, "Well, I can negotiate on it, but to be honest, if you think you've got to come on board and negotiate that, I haven't. We need to talk more about what your concerns are, because to be fair, we're going to come in and do the back office for someone. You can't change back office providers left, right, and centre.
You don't want to be leaving after 6 months and doing it.
You'll speak to your customers. So to be fair, I say, look, I'll write whatever you want in the contract. But you need to be sure that we're the right partner for you, and the way we do that is, we will give a guarantee that if it doesn't work, that we'll refund fees or let you out. But in reality, we invest heavily training you and getting our systems into you, because we give you an online portal, etc. And changing portals is not easy, as I'm sure there's be quite a few people on this call. So don't want to go through that pain again. So you need to do your research, exactly like coming back to not getting caught out by hidden charges. And is the supplier suitable for you? So a one-off fee without minimums, give you some surety, because again, if there's no turnover going through, then basically all that happens is it sits there for 12 months and it lapses, and you walk away without any fees. And I think that's as good as any negotiation on contract length as possible. If you're a large provider moving over to us, turn it around the other way. You want to make sure that we're bolted in for 12 months in supporting you. So it depends at where you are on the journey and what stage stage of the business cycle you're in, we do a lot of new starts, but also we take on a lot of larger existing agencies and switch them from other suppliers. And that's because it's the relationship driven, and we pride ourselves on relationship.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think that's a great note to end it on. Yeah, look, as ever, if there's anything in this webinar that has piqued your interest or you want more information on, get in touch with us, have a chat. We're always happy to talk through numbers and quotes that we can do. But equally, just if you want a bit of advice on current deals that you have or what you should be looking out for, drop us a line. We're both on LinkedIn. And we will be putting more of these out there in the next couple of months. I think we've got some guests lined up as well in the coming months.
Yeah, I think we're taking the rain check in August, and then we think we've got the guys from APSCO lined up for September, hopefully. So yeah, we'll have some more guest speakers, etc.
Yeah. So have a good summer, everybody. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you all again soon.
Cheers now.
Bye bye.